Ahoy, it's Jeff, aka Godless Scummer. Welcome to this little impromptu Sunday morning stream I'm having. I don't know how long I'm going to be going for, but I thought I would just, talk about a story that broke, yesterday or early today, rather. Now, people may remember that last week I covered the absolute I'm trying to think of a polite way of where it was saying this. Fuckery of what happened in Trafalgar Square and in London last week with the anti-vax protesters, and really disgusting rhetoric by certain people who I don't even really want to say their names, to be honest. But there's been an interesting little story involving one of the lead anti-vax campaigners in the country, a guy by the name of Piers Corbyn. Now, Piers Corbyn is, happens to also be the brother of the former Labour Party leader, Jeremy Corbyn, although I seriously do not think Jeremy Corbyn supports the kind of crap that his brother spouts. Certainly, Jeremy Corbyn's son tweeted something about his uncle Piers a little bit earlier, which I think kind of says it all. For certain purposes, I am going to be using words like appeared to and allegedly a bit in this because I think for fairly obvious reasons. But the story is this. A couple of YouTubers decided they would have a bit of fun with Piers Corbyn. Now, I've linked the video in question in the description of this video, and it's called "We Expose the UK's Leading Anti-Vaxxers." It's by Josh Pieters and Archie. It's about an 8-minute long video. And I'm going to be reading a bit of an article about this. Now, actually, there's a few articles about this, but I've chosen the males one, which is unusual for me, yes, to be reading from a Daily Mail thing, but did seem to be the most sort of in-depth article on this. Now, what it appears to have happened here is that these two guys duped Piers Corbyn into accepting a fake £10,000 bundle of cash to focus his criticism on AstraZeneca's competitors. Now, what these guys did essentially was try and approached him and sort of said, hey, we're we kind of support what you do, but we have we have shares in AstraZeneca, and could we interest you in maybe focusing a little bit more on Pfizer and Moderna? That's kind of what happened here. But we'll jump into the story a little bit here. So, and I thought I could jump into this because this cheered me up, to be honest. This absolutely cheered me up. It says here, a video has been shared online which appears to show anti-vaxxer Piers Corbyn was willing to accept £10,000 in exchange for an end to criticising AstraZeneca in his speeches. Prank was set up by YouTubers Josh Pieters and Archie, who posed as stakeholders in AstraZeneca, who are concerned about the negative impact of Piers Corbyn's anti-vaccine speeches. The duo filmed the encounter, which saw them trying to convince the former Labour leader's brother to take £10,000 he thought came from AstraZeneca to stop criticising their vaccine. What he actually accepted was an envelope full of monopoly money in exchange for promising to focus on Pfizer and Moderna instead of the AstraZeneca jab. In the clip, which has gone viral on social members, Pieters can be seen purchasing shares worth about £100 in AstraZeneca to ensure that he could legally pose as a stakeholder in the company. Yes, they did that for certain legal reasons and used their real names as well. So during this, says they then got in touch with Piers Corbyn via an email proposing a donation to his Stop New Normal campaign, to which Corbyn replies and agrees to meet up. The pranksters arranged a meeting in London's Sloane Square and set up a restaurant with hidden cameras. Once the meeting begins, Pieters tells Corbyn that his father owns a very successful restaurant chain in South Africa and implies that the family has another number of other businesses and investments. He then adds, one of our main interests, funnily enough, is we have shareholders in the AstraZeneca vaccines, which is just great. It's just great. This goes on, but this gets better and better. Hi, Ed, by the way. Says, can you believe that? It's not from a personal standpoint. It's more of a case that it's good business. In the clip, Piers laughs at the revelation before going on to make comments about Moderna and Pfizer, stating that they give those magnetic things, calling them very scary. A little bit down a bit further. Pieters then goes on to suggest how they could help his campaign in exchange for a favour. The comedian says, if we can help your campaign in any way, then that's obviously going to help us. We've got shared interests. We actually even bought something along today. It's just a token of our intention of helping out with your campaign. Manners then lifts out an envelope containing £10,000 in real cash and shares it to Piers Corbyn, who says, wow, and calls it fantastic. Pieters continues, this is obviously just a statement of intent. We'd love to keep funding you. So there's 10,000 there. Piers Corbyn appears to be excited by the cash offered by someone he appears to believe in is an AstraZeneca shareholder before he sets out his terms for the agreement. He tells the duo, as long as I can accept it with no insistence on any policy changes or anything that I'm doing. Manners then agrees that they would not ask for policy changes, but suggests that if they could, anything could be done for Piers' campaign to focus on Pfizer and Moderna, that would be useful. Corbyn then said, yeah to Pieters' request, and the AstraZeneca to be ignored in his future campaign activity. The video appears to show Corbyn writing down benefits of the AstraZeneca vaccine, a jab that he had previously campaigned against. The pranksters then use sleight of hand. This is so funny. Oh, you watch the video. This is so brilliant. They use sleight of hand to switch out the envelope of real cash and swap it with one stuffed with Monopoly money. Oh, this is absolutely and nerdy. Yeah, you can have. If I can find 10 grand in Monopoly money, you can have it. To avoid any appearance of a conflict of interest, Piers tells the jury if they ask where the money come from, I'll just say it was from a businessman who runs restaurants, which is obviously what Pieters' sort of cover was. He then assures the pranksters that he wouldn't say anything about the money coming from AstraZeneca. Corbyn then appears to claim that a focus on Pfizer and Moderna would would happen anyway without any interference. Josh Pieters, has a history of targeting controversial figures in his videos, and last year appeared to trick Katie Hopkins into flying to Prague and accepting a fake award. I remember that, but I thought that was more than a year ago. Piers Corbyn told Mail Online. He said that the video has been heavily edited with dishonest commentary and leaves out my repeated statements that anything we accept has to be unconditional. I'll get onto that as a point in a minute. It says, it is false that I agree to any change in policy whatsoever, and I stated to these imposters that all COVID vaccines were dangerous and we weren't changing any of our views against vaccines and vaccine passporting. The video starts off with a false claim. The emails they sent said nothing at all about the interests of these gentlemen. This was only revealed at the meeting. He claimed he made his money from a restaurant chain and later said he had an investment in a vaccine company, which made him feel guilty, and he wanted to give a gift because of feeling that he's feeling guilty. I agreed nothing about limiting or changing what we've been doing to say about various COVID vaccines. So that was what Piers Corbyn had to say on that at the end. I could actually say something. This is perhaps why I've been using sort of words like allegedly, because obviously the video was edited. It was edited down from, you know, to put the whole thing into an 8-minute video. Probably because, you know, like nobody's going to want to really watch a sort of 3 or 4 hour long video of everything they've done. But I would actually say I would like Pieters and Manning to actually put out the correspondence actually and see whether or not Piers Corbyn's actually telling the truth about this. So I would be very interested. What's that? Mark says here in Australia, they're saying it's blood clotting, you know, it's similar to AstraZeneca and Pfizer. Do you think they're saying this just to get people to get the vaccine? Don't know. I don't know the answer to that, honestly. Honest answer, I don't know. But I just think that I really think that was a hilarious prank. And if it is showing what it professes to show there, it's very interesting that surely to an anti-vaxxer like Piers Corbyn, I mean, come on, you know, your brother was a politician who actually ran to become prime minister of this country. You've been around politics and stuff. Listen, something's a little sus if somebody's handing you a brown envelope, Piers. Come on. You should have, brown envelopes full of cash like that. That would be so. It would have been so. I would have thought that would have been an immediate red flag. And if this video is showing what it professes to show, it's interesting then because it would suggest that Piers Corbyn is actually willing to can be bought on this shit. Which even if I were an anti-vaxxer, God perish the thought, but even if I were, I'd be asking him fucking questions about that now, about what happened here. Now I very doubt that Pieters and Manning will actually watch this video. I really doubt they will, but I would implore them to release the whole footage in correspondence, if you could see your way doing that, because this is the thing that they're going to say that this was edited to make him look bad. So I would implore you to release all of this, and we'll see, and then we can establish who is telling the truth here. So this is why I'm being a little careful how I word things here, because I have to sort of use words like allegedly and so on. But if I were Piers Corbyn, the very second that someone said they've got shares in AstraZeneca. That should have been a red. That surely should have been a red flag. That surely should have been a red flag to them. And it is stupid early for you, Manda, and I'm talking about someone who's very stupid here. But you know, it's surely, you know, you would think anyone with any common sense here would, you know, would see that what this was coming. And I think you're right, Grumpy. Piers Corbyn does not need to be edited to look stupid. He really does not. You know, the bloke's a moron. And you know, really, to me, is kind of trading off his brother's name, who's the smart one in the smarter one in the Corbyn family. Well, I won't say the smart one because Jeremy's son, Tommy Corbyn, so you know, did tweet about this, and he had this story, and he had a very, very simple tweet, and it was Piers is a tit. That is all. Yeah, the bloke is a tit. But I thought that's interesting. Especially, I implore people to go and watch this video. As I said, I've put the link in the description. I think it's hilarious. I do remember these guys pranking Katie Hopkins a while ago. You know, which again would, you know, surely Piers Corbyn, bloody idiot this guy is. Katie Hopkins has been on some of those same damn disgusting anti-vax speeches, rallies that he's been on. You know, you'd think he might pay attention to what happens to his allies at times. Piers, I'm sorry, but you're an absolute idiot for walking away with that envelope. That alone puts a whole new light on this. Now, I would have loved to have seen the look on his face when he opened up that bag and found that it was Monopoly money in there. I would have loved to have seen the look on Piers Corbyn's face when he really legitimately thought he was walking away with £10,000 in cash, and then opened that up to find out it was Monopoly money. I think that was absolutely. This has got to be one of the most epic trollings ever. And the reason I just thought I'd come on for a few minutes, and just cover this story, was because it gave me a chuckle. And after all the damn fuckery, especially with what happened last week, which just made me angry at the most disgusting, some of the most disgusting remarks I've ever heard said on a rally in Britain ever by certain people. The anti-vax movement deserves this. It deserves to be seen for the fucking stupidity that it is, and the fact that if this is professing what it's supposed to profess, you're the very leaders of your movement are corrupt as fuck as well, and we're quite happy and we're quite happy to take the money. And again, I'd like to just say one more time to, you know, to Josh Pieters and Archie Manners, please, I implore you to release the full footage of that. And we can see then whether Piers Corbyn's claims that you edited him to make him look bad hold up or not. I implore you to release the full footage. Yeah, and by the way, just so you know, actually, Manda, last week at that big anti-vax rally, there was a Trump flag in London. Yeah. So, yeah, I thought I'd just come in and talk about this for a little bit, because I just found the whole thing rather funny, rather amusing. but at the same time, it definitely is saying something about the leaders of the anti-vax movement, that it looks like because it appears that they can be bribed. Now, and again, to sum up, Piers Corbyn, even if you thought that was a legitimate thing to do and that they did edit you, you're a fucking moron for taking cash out from a bloody brown envelope. You've been around politicians long enough, okay, to know that is fucking stupid. You know, you know, I mean, I've got to say, I mean, I was a supporter of his brother, Jeremy. I still am. I've met Jeremy Corbyn a number of times. Very, very nice man. Piers seems to be like the fucked up weird uncle of the family. Is kind of what he seems to be. But you think he would know better. The very second they said they had shares in AstraZeneca and that there was a brown envelope there, you'd think anyone with any fucking brains would know that this was a setup. But just maybe, the thought of 10 grand sitting in front of him blinded him. But there we go. I think I'm pretty much done. I just really wanted to come in and talk about that a bit, because that was fucking. That whole thing was funny. Okie doke. So this is once again, after we're shut down, please look at the link in the description. Go and watch Josh Pieters and Archie Manner's video on this, because it is brilliant. It is absolutely brilliant the way what they did to Piers Corbyn. So this has been Jeff, aka God the Scummer. Please don't forget to leave a like, share, subscribe if you haven't already. You know, want to get to 400 subs at some point soon, because I've been sort of stuck around the 370 mark for months now. So help a brother out here. Okay, see you guys later. All right, salute.